live just to see if I don't know, give the West Coast some love, I guess. But last time wasn't too bad. So normally I do the lives during the day. I just have more free time, and it's when I'm off. But we'll try a weekend nighttime live. See how it goes. Anyways, the main point that I wanted to cover tonight was chapter 17. So this shouldn't go too long, especially if there's no one really on. Then this will just be a live format, but I'll just do the same format as I would a regular video. So we're covering chapter 17, starts on page 152, and this is the George Washington's Jelly Glass. If you remembered, I started to talk about this maybe 3 or 4 days ago, earlier on the week, and I read through the chapter once. It's like the fourth time I've read it, but for the purpose of a deep dive, I read through the chapter and didn't really see anything in it. So I kind of went back, did a Forrest Fenn chapter, did another chapter, and worked on the past and future puzzle, and didn't really get anywhere. So we're back to chapter 17, and if we go through it and there's nothing that I really find, I'm okay with just putting chapter 17 down as a 1, or maybe even a 0. But before we start, this is a good thing. Someone in the Discord tonight, we did a speakeasy, and we were talking about how many clues do you need to go boots on the ground? And so it's a question I think I've sort of answered in the past. I'll say I'll elaborate a little bit on my current answer. For me, it's how far away it is. So if it's really close to you, if you have a solve and you only have, let's do one of the small chapters. All right, so any one with a box, and it's within like an hour from you, and you only have like maybe 4 or 5 clues, and it's, some of them are a little bit shaky. If it's outdoor, if it's a good location, I still think it's worth checking out, heading out there, because, what do you have to lose? It's practice. It's getting your eyes used to searching for things. You're developing your grid searching methods. You're developing how you're tracking where you're going. It's good practice for when you have a really solid solve. Now, if same thing applies, and you have 3 or 4 clues are kind of shaky, and it's like 6-7 hours away, more than a day away, definitely no go, right? Hey, what's up, Taylor? How you doing? If I'm not sure if you know what we're talking about, but it's there's treasure inside. It's a treasure book, National Treasure Hunt for 5 boxes. So I don't know if you know what we're doing or not. That's a high praise. I don't know if I'm more entertaining than Traders. Traders is pretty entertaining, but at least you can pause Traders and catch up later. Although I guess you could just catch up on my show later. I don't know. I appreciate it, Hooli. All right. I lost my train of thought. Oh, clues. Okay, yeah. So that's for a small box. For a big box, I just drove 14 hours. Picked this file on the way home from Texas. Yeah. If I'm reading that correctly, Aaron, if you're already going home from Texas, like you're already going, then yeah, if you find anything shaky, anything kind of, trust your gut, anything that looks kind of a couple clues, you're nothing really to lose other than time there. Your route's already taking you across. That's perfect. Business trips, vacations, cross-country traveling, anything that you're already there in the area, yeah, explore those boots on the grounds that you wouldn't normally go out and do it because you're in the area, right? For something like the Lion's Share, where you have 23 chapters, and most chapters have at least 1 clue, I wouldn't go boots on the ground, again, unless it was within like an hour from me, that we're just, experimenting, getting some practice. I wouldn't spend any serious resources or money going boots on the ground unless you had, I'm talking like at least 15 clues. I made you bind. I believe in you, Aaron. I believe in you. So at least 15 clues. What's up, Toes? Okay, let's get into chapter 17. George Washington's Jelly Glass. All right, so again, this one starts out, share your story. All right, the key significance with George Washington in there was Straw Hat Hunter. Good luck in Houston. With George Washington in there, now that we found this in the introduction, right, where it talks about page 9, which again, page 9 is a start. This is the introduction, telling you how to read this book. More than a few have historical significance. It goes into Picasso, Carnegie, Washington, Tiffany Thoreau, and Onassis. So Washington is one of the named in the very beginning historical figures. So I do think this could be a chapter where JCB says that you might find clues in the histories of the glass. If it's anything, I think this chapter is something where there's something in the histories that he's leading you to believe. Because again, I didn't really see anything that super jumped out at me. All right, nothing really on the first page for me. Going into the second page, 153, we see the cherry tree, which again I think is AI. I'm not sure if there's anything too big in there. Hey, what's up, Ron? Dementia Gaming, what's going on? Of course, if you haven't noticed it already, at the bottom of the cherry tree, this cherry tree right here on page 153, there is tiny, tiny, tiny little letters. There's been some debate over what those letters are. I'll let you take a look at it and see what you think. We go into this whole story of George Washington chopping down the cherry tree. George Washington never told a lie, which is interesting about the Mason Locke Weems, who wrote it, kind of made it up. So maybe we're looking for something in Washington's history that was kind of made up. As we start getting into Washington's career as told by JCB, a theme that kind of popped into my head was tall, and I thought for a second that he repeated the word tall many times, but he actually doesn't. But I just got a sense of height and tall. Hey, what's up, Mr. Bag? Starting at the very top of 155, George was tall and kept himself well manicured. All right. So that was the first instance of tall. I thought it was repeated again. There's several instances of Washington riding on his horse, which I guess would make him taller than everybody else, going to the front, within cannon range, cheering his men, riding. Hey, Jay, there's no need to be. There's no need for that in the channel. I don't know. I guess I should get a mod eventually. But yeah, I don't really see the word tall appearing again and again. It's just an impression in my mind of Washington as he's describing it. Or I've got that YouTube video of, hey, Mr. Bag, we're talking about John Collins Black treasure hunting called There's Treasure Inside. All right. It's a national treasure hunt. This guy hid 5 boxes all across the country. The idea was that he chose 5, so there is at least 1 treasure box near-ish to you. He spread it across the United States that way. Each box is comfortably 6 figures. So again, we don't really know the specific amount. If I told you, hey, there's comfortable 6 figures in a box, I guess we're thinking at least 400K. I don't know. I guess that's open for debate. Again, moving to the bottom of 156, then we'd introduce the jelly glass, talking about Mount Vernon. All right, so here's where we get one of the first recommendations, right? Because even though he talks about Mason Locke Weems and his biography, he doesn't actually say that he recommends to read it, right? In fact, Weems didn't even come up with this tall tale. Well, there's tall again. Until his book's 5th edition printing, 183 years later. But yeah, I don't think JCB recommends you read that. He's just telling you about it. But on page 156, that's where he does recommend you read Washington, A Life, written by Ron. Hey, Ron. There we go. Ron Chernow. Chernow is famous for his biography of Alexander Hamilton. Again, why mention Hamilton other than to give the credence or make this guy, Ron Chernow, show how legit he is. I don't know how many treasure hunters would key into that, but it does bring up Hamilton. So are we supposed to look at Hamilton? Ron J, Mr. Bag. Yeah, so again, are we supposed to look into that? Because now we're getting close to the end here. So the second time we've mentioned whitewashed, right? Page 158. Unless we can find a third time. I like to find 3s if we can. That would include to me like some significance of digging down into it. But, mares and 2s are good too. So because of all the details, this is 158. Because of all the details Washington was willing to share about himself in his diaries and his journals, instead of whitewashed textbooks, we are left with a real window into Washington's humanity. Again, whitewashed was mentioned first in 153. Top of 153, or the middle top of the text. The American history hardback that thudded down in front of me was heavy. It was also whitewashed. Again, I don't know the clues in whitewashed. I mean, what's up with the compass on the pirate ship? Yeah, we can. That's what lives are for, to dive into whatever anybody wants to talk about. Caveat related to the treasure hunt. I'm not going to take it super off the rails here. But the compass on the pirate ship page, yeah, I really, again, this just screams AI to me. I really think that there's nothing significant to it. I mean, sure, you got all kinds of letters all the way around. I mean, if anyone doesn't know what we're talking about, we're talking at the letter up here. Backwards letters, upside down letters, mirrored letters, WN, scribbles, O. Yeah, there's maybe some numbers even in there. I think it's just AI gibberish. I wouldn't really put too much credence in it, unless some people have blown it up. If you have the ebook, you can get a really clear photo, and I've seen some people do some anagrams with the words. Again, that's not my bag. I'm not really super into that. But if that's what you want, yeah, you can go down some rabbit holes there. Side note, also, if you're looking at the rigging, or I don't know if that's the right word, on the ship, actually looking at like the cargo nets that are kind of going up the side, the rigging, the ropes, whatever you want to call them. Some people have seen words and letters in there. I kind of see the maybe a little bit of letters, the ones closest to the front of the boat. I guess front left as you're looking at it. I don't know. But continue on with the Washington chapter. We're almost to the end of here. The as far as segues go, I think it's a pretty good segue. I'm always interested in the segues and how it goes. This one, doesn't seem really odd. One last note for the text. Storytelling weaves a quilt that blankets us all. So throughout several chapters, you'll see the words thread, you'll see wove, weave, or woven. This is one of the ones that does bring that up. Maybe if you take all the chapters where weaving or thread is mentioned, there's something significant. I'm not sure. I've just started to get a couple sections of chapters together now that I'm almost to the end of our first deep dive. And I am putting this Washington chapter along with the other historical individuals that I mentioned, Picasso, Tiffany, Thoreau. But yeah, that's coming to the end of this one. I mean, we talked about Rumpelstiltskin in chapter 16, the one before. Did I get that right? No, 16, adaptations, restrictions. Page 143, yeah. All right, so if you don't know what we're talking about, Rumpelstiltskin, here we go. Top of 143. The latter is a story woven, here we go, woven, from pure fairy tale yarn, textured with tons of drama, with an ending spun of gold. If you don't know the story of Rumpelstiltskin, really quickly in a couple sentences, this lady gets kidnapped by the king and forced to spin gold. And she spins gold by making a deal with a little leprechaun kind of guy. And the deal is in order for him to give her the power to spin gold, she has to give him, the leprechaun, her firstborn son. She agrees in the moment. Later, she regrets that deal. Yeah, this story is there's really dark undertones to the story, which is why I think it associates well with the color black if you go for the Olympic rings. Anyways, at the very end, he says he'll let her out of the deal if she can guess his name. And then for some reason, she spies on him and he's singing around a campfire. And he sings a little song about how no one will ever guess his name. His name's Rumpelstiltskin. And she hears it, and then the next day she tells him his name, and he gets mad and leaves, and she keeps her firstborn son. So that's Rumpelstiltskin in a nutshell. Anyways, locking it back in, tying it all together. Page 143, we see here some Rumpelstiltskin kind of rumblings. Page 158, now we go back and we say, if Washington and his peers had not told their stories themselves, we might have been left with nothing but fairy tales to inform us of how our country came to be. Again, I look for threes. This one's a 2, unless someone can find another 3, but it's 2 in a row, which I think is pretty significant. 2 fairy tale. Again, this one's not Rumpelstiltskin specific, but it is, I don't know. So that's my conclusion. Yeah, hay instead of straw. that's my conclusion for this chapter. Again, nothing really mind-blowing, nothing really amazing, just a couple little threads and little nuggets for people to follow down. Yeah, so if you're just joining late, that's what we were talking about. Washington's Jelly Glass. We found some Rumpelstiltskin. We found some fairy tales. We found maybe tall height could be a theme. We saw a wove and woven appear again. That's kind of all I got for that one. Again, nothing really amazing there. Let me just scroll back through, see if anything's... Okay, we're arguing about who's older. What did Hulu say? Washington's on the $1, Hamilton's on the 10. Yeah, okay, that could be something. I'm not seeing what else is money related. So 007, that's not really money unless you go Casino Royale, and that's kind of like a couple steps away. What else? I mean, there's a lot of wealth and riches, but normally it's with gems and gold. Although it's interesting to mention Hamilton and Washington and money, that the chapter before we talked about the world's richest man at the time, Carnegie, right? So I don't know. There's something to be said for the themes users for sure, right? Thank you, Aaron. Oh, we got some hearts appearing. Hooli trying to moderate things. There we go. Thoughts on page 90. Oh, let's go there. So thoughts on page 90. Again, if you have any comments, just shout it out, or else I'm gonna wrap it up here. But page 90. So I went through the book a couple times looking for 9, looking for 90. So 9 I find interesting because the first page of the book is 9, and what I mean by that is the introduction, right? The very bottom right here. It's a 9. Hopefully that's not backwards on your screen. Now I know the reason why it says 9 is because if you count backwards, right? So it's, let's scoot back here. It's 9, 8, right? 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and then this is 1. All right, so that's 1. So again, 90. I mean, the book starts on 9. That's kind of something. Maybe multiply by 10. Hamilton. I don't know. Looking at 90, like looking at 89 and 91, it's smack in the middle of chapter 9. So okay, look, the first page is 9, right? We look to chapter 9. There's a missing 90, maybe something with a 0, right? And it's kind of smack in the middle of the chapter. Is it right in the middle? So let's see. 9, 1, 1, 1, 1. Yeah, nope, it's 1 off. It's not right in the middle. It's it's a 1 page close to the front. But chapter 9 is pretty interesting. I did a video on it before if you want to look back at it, but I didn't specifically mention 90. But chapter 9 is about a temple that's built specifically to give the visitor, give the supplicant, give the layperson a sense of the supernatural mystique. And it's kind of built, the priests, as we're reading this, we're kind of reading it with the knowledge that the priests have. We're reading it of that it's built near running water, and the tunnels were constructed to make the sound kind of eerie. You know, the mirrors, the nails, the plays of tricks of light were supposed to all throw off the visitor, the pilgrim, as he's wandering through the halls led by the priest, winding in and out, losing his sense of direction. It's very constructed to give, I did find this chapter very interesting, a lot in the history of it, right? Thoughts on page 90-degree angle. Yeah, I mean, 90-degree angle. Yeah, so before I move on to the cherry tree, let me just see if there's anything else I have to add to the conversation about 90. I mean, the Discord has some really good ideas about 90, and, I haven't fully explored everything to connecting to 90. That's just, my first thoughts. The book starts on page 9. The missing page 90 is in chapter 9. A lot of 9s there. I mean, I do find a lot more 3s and 5s in the book. And yeah, someone said missing, right? Amelia Earhart. Okay, yeah. The 99s, I don't know what the 99s are. I don't, is that a page number? 99? Yeah, I don't know about the 99s. Okay, going on to the cherry tree. Is it a red herring? Um, I don't know if it's. I'm sure if we sat down JCB and asked him about red herrings, or I mean, someone's already asked him, but if we asked him like, what's there for just art and making the format and making the book look good, and what's an intentional red herring, I mean, he'd probably have a cute answer there. You know, maybe give you a little smirk, a little chuckle. Um, because again, I mean, you could say any photo that's not directly a clue or a hint from the way people are looking at it could be a red herring. She started a program called the 99s. Okay, I'll have to look into that. That's not something I'm not familiar with, so I'll have to look into that. But yeah, I don't really have too much else out on page 90. Page 90. Yeah. I mean, and it hasn't been corrected yet, right? He's had 3 editions out and the ebook, and everything's still pointing towards page 90 being missing. So I agree, it's something. It's definitely something. Will you be live again? Yeah, I'll definitely be live again. Normally, so as I'm wrapping this up, let's type something else out if you want it to be covered. But my normal schedule is so I work Friday, Saturday, Sunday, 14 hours during the day, and so at night I don't really do lives too often. Sometimes I'll just record something and post it. Normally I do my lives Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday when I'm off, and it'll be like during the day, like I don't know, like 1 or 2 in the afternoon. Will normally be my routine. You know, sleep in, wake up, you know, get dressed, coffee, breakfast, and then sit down and do a live. That's normally when I do my lives, Monday through Thursday during the day, afternoon time. All right, that's it. Thanks for joining. Again, if you're into treasure hunting, if you stumbled across this live, I knew this. Live in Maryland. Hey, man, I live in Maryland too. I'm in Glen Burnie, right outside Baltimore. But yeah, this is if you're new to treasure hunting, I would say watch my later videos, because my early videos I'm kind of figuring it all out with you, and some of my theories are pretty wild when I look back at them. But I think my later videos, especially the chapter, each video on the individual chapter is pretty good, and some of my later, you know, I call them solves or solutions for some of the smaller boxes. I think even if you disagree with them, they'll give you a thought or behind the scenes peek at how my brain works and one way to work it, one way to go down the logic, and you might get some ideas, or you might say, I don't want to go down that road. But either way, I think it's pretty helpful. So like and subscribe. Reisterstown, yeah, I know Reisterstown is. All right, man. Take care, guys. Later. Bye.